Goldylocks Productions broadcasts universal cosmic frequencies that unlock, awaken, and expand the consciousness of our worldwide viewers and listeners.
Goldylocks Productions presents the Live from Little Bear Sanctuary show with Christopher Vane. Enjoy topics such as the vegan lifestyle, sanctuary media highlights, and spotlighting new rescues.
Happy Friday, friends. Welcome to Live from Little Bear Sanctuary. I'm your host, Chris Vane. All right, guys. Today, if you're watching live, it's Friday, April 23rd, 2021. If you are watching on the Goldylocks Productions YouTube or the Little Bear Sanctuary Facebook, don't forget to sign in, subscribe, say hello, tell us where you're watching from. Today is it's day 21 of our 21-day plant-based vegan challenge. So I hope everybody made it through the 21 days. I hope you guys gave it a try. If you're already vegan, I know those of us who are already vegan, we're going to try to do like a really healthy, whole foods, plant-based 21 days, no oil, like really, really healthy. I love my junk food, so it was a little hard for me, but I definitely got through it without using any oil. The sugar, not so much. I need my coffee creamer with my sugar, but I did lay off the cakes and the cookies and all that kind of stuff. So it was. I enjoyed it. I don't know about Randy. He also likes his goodies, but we made it through. Anyway, yesterday was Earth Day. So what I thought I would do today before I bring on my guest is I'm going to start an animal counter. It's a worldwide animal slaughter counter. I'm going to start it right now. What it does, it's going to count the number of animals that are slaughtered from the time I press this button, which is now, till the end of the show. And I just kind of want to give you guys an idea of within 50 minutes, the insane amount of animals that are slaughtered for human consumption. So that's running right now. And I'm going to bring on my guest. She is a culinary educator, food photographer, and she's actually an amazing chef. And I'm so excited to have her here today. Welcome to the studio, Chef Diana Goldman. Hey, Diana.
Hello, hi. So
Welcome.
Good to see you. Thank you so much. It's so fun to meet you after following you on Instagram for years and years and getting such joy and pleasure out of seeing all of the work you're doing down in Florida.
Well, thank you. Thanks. Appreciate that. So what are we cooking today?
So today I'm up in Boston.
Yes.
And our weather's starting to get warm, and I love to entertain, and I've been doing quite a bit of it out on my back porch, and I'm looking forward to doing lots more. And the thing I look for is recipes that work great for entertaining, and I like to make things that are like really fun, pick them up, finger foods, super delicious for people, whether they're eating vegan, whole food, plant-based, they're meat eaters, they lie somewhere in between. I like to find recipes that are appealing to all palates, super delicious, health promoting. So that's what I had in mind. Also, you mentioned I'm a food photographer. I love to make foods that are really appealing to the eye, because the first thing we do is we see the food and we decide whether it's going to be delicious and we want to try it. So I always want to make the food appealing for people. So on that note, I am making a mango guacamole, and I'll show you how I put it together on a pretty platter.
Okay.
And I'm also making a chickpea salad, which is super filling, super protein rich. It's got a really good bite to it, a lot of umami flavors, which I'll talk about. And it also can be served on a baguette, it can be in a sandwich, it can be on endive spare. So again, I'm going to show you how I would plate that for guests.
Awesome. So tell everybody a little bit about your journey to veganism.
Okay. So I've always been a really enthusiastic cook, and probably I would say 9 years ago, on any given day, I would be making chicken or some kind of steak or some kind of cheese platters. I loved my cheese. Someone once asked me, what's the one food you could never do without? And I said, absolutely cheese. Like that is the one thing. You too, right?
Too,
cheese,
yeah.
eggs, all of it. You know,
Yeah.
I made really creamy dishes. The food tasted good, no doubt. And I had no awareness about the impact the food that I was having on potentially health, potentially the environment, potentially other beings we share the planet with. So one random day, Chris, I watched a documentary called Earthlings.
Yep.
And it was really, really grueling to watch. I sort of watched it because I've always loved elephants. And a friend of mine said, if you love elephants, you got to see this. And I said, all right, one day I will. I put a note in my phone to watch it. And suddenly it was the day. It was hard to watch. It's about the ways that animals are exploited for the food industry, environmental industry, education, food, for entertainment, and for clothing. And I watched it like in 2-minute increments. Watch a little, go and do the laundry. Watch a little more.
Me too.
Right? You know, you've seen it.
It took me a week to get through it.
Yeah, it's really, really hard to get through it. It's upsetting even to think about it now. And I made myself do it in one day. And when it was over, my husband could see that I was upset. And he said, so are you going to be vegan now? And I was like, vegan? I don't think I even really knew what it is.
Yeah.
And honestly, Chris, I had studied nutrition as an undergraduate, and my professor was T. Colin Campbell. So even though, undergrad, he taught me nutritional biochemistry. Even though I had studied nutrition, it was not on my radar at all, anything about eating a plant-based diet.
Yeah.
So I said no. Meanwhile, I did Google something about, do we need to eat animal products? And I ended up on a site of an animal rights professor who basically said, if we're doing something that causes suffering to others, then it's not right. And I was like, oh, like a switch flipped for me. Yeah. If I'm eating animal products and it's hurting animals, it's just not right. So then meanwhile, I went out to dinner that night, coincidentally to a restaurant where the chef loves to get creative. And I said to the waitress, do you have anything that doesn't have any animal products in it? She said, you mean vegan? I said, yeah, I guess I mean vegan. She said, sure, the chef loves to do that, and brought me the most gorgeous plate of food. I was like, oh, I can do this. And I never, ever, as far as I know, I never ate an animal product again. And then I said,
amazing.
I don't know what do I do? I don't know how to cook this way. So I looked on Amazon for the most best-selling vegan cookbooks. I bought them, and then I just decided I was going to try a new recipe every day for a year.
Wow.
By the end of it, it was like people were asking me to teach them to cook. People were asking me to cater for them. So it just sort of evolved.
Wow. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Thanks.
Yeah. I know we both got our plant-based nutrition certification at Cornell, and I just recently finished it, and I was really amazed at how much I still didn't know. So that to me was fascinating. I always tell people, I always recommend it because it was a great 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's an excellent 6 weeks. There's so much education. They're constantly improving that course too. Yeah. So it's changed and evolved since I took it. Yeah. And it's so much to learn about sort of debunking the myths that we need to consume animal products to be healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And in fact, learning that eating a plant-based diet has the potential to minimize our risk for all sorts of diseases that we suffer from in this country, and even in some case reverse it. Yeah. So there's a lot of really eye-opening information in that class.
Truly, yeah, it was. It was for me personally. It was really good to just see kind of the science behind it. You can be 11 years vegan, and I still learn something new, which is what I love to do.
Yeah.
So.
Is that what you are, 11 years vegan?
11 years now, yeah.
Yeah. Do you mind me asking what your journey has been?
Oh, yeah, not at all. I had reunited with a friend from high school on Facebook, and he was vegan, obviously, and he was showing all the animal slaughter pics. And there was a link to Mercy for Animals. And Mercy for Animals had a video called Meat Video, and it showed basically the life of every different animal on a factory farm. And the first one was pigs, and I think it took me, oh my God, it took me a couple hours just to watch that. I was so horrified because I had no idea. I really thought these animals were running around in a field in the grass, and seeing them kept in those gestation crates and just the horrible existence. I was completely like, it totally woke me up, and I never ate meat again. It was truly the life-changing for me. So, and,
yeah,
you know,
and
I'll forever be grateful to him for.
Say that again.
I said I'm forever grateful to him for reconnecting on Facebook. It just changed my life forever.
Isn't it funny?
Truly.
Just like that one little connection in that one video, and look how it changed the course of your life.
Oh my God!
And you are a veterinarian. Is that correct?
Vet tech.
A vet tech.
Nurse. Yeah, veterinary
even
nurse.
Working in that industry, you still did not have the awareness of.
Yeah, you know, I was a realtor at the time. Strangely, you know, I was in human healthcare in New York for years and years and years. So, kind of burnt out. Moved to Florida, became a realtor of all things, and it was during that real estate class. I had been vegan for a few years, and we were taking a course on following your passion. And that's when I had the light bulb moment to open a sanctuary. Yeah.
Oh my God.
But then I became a vet tech too, because I knew I was going to open this. God bless you. I became a vet tech because I knew I was going to open the sanctuary.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was the only vegan. So that was even like, there were no vegans in the veterinary industry. I never met a single vegan.
It's so interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of cognitive dissonance in all areas of our life. And it takes a lot to sort of like open up your eyes and then make such a drastic change, and really to step away from what society is doing. It takes a lot of courage, but the rewards are plentiful, as we both know. All right. Well, I love talking to you. I will get cooking.
Sounds good.
I'm going to start. I have up my laptop here. With the recipe to the side. So if I look over to the side, it's because I'm looking at the recipe. So the first thing I'm going to do is make this chickpea salad. And I'm just using an ordinary can of beans. Certainly, you can make this with your own beans. I oftentimes cook a whole bunch of beans in an Instant Pot pressure cooker, and then I'm good to go. I keep them in the fridge or the freezer. But I have a 15-ounce can of beans that I'm just going to drain now. And one thing I love about beans basically is they're really protein rich. People ask us when we go vegan, where do we get our protein from?
All the time.
All the time. Beans are an excellent source of protein, and they're also really nice and filling, because people can't imagine when you eat, you know, you drop chicken and meat and that kind of thing from your diet, how you're going to feel full from them. I've just put them in a bowl. And I'm using this. I'm just going to mash the chickpeas while I talk to you. Sure. People can't imagine how you could feel full and satisfied. And one of the ways to feel full and satisfied when eating a plant-based diet is really load up on whole grains and beans, and add umami flavors to your foods, which I'll talk about in just a minute. So I'm going to mash these beans so that they aren't like a hummus. So I'm not making a puree, but also so that I don't really see any whole pieces of chickpeas anymore. And basically, I also do this for like a tuna, quote unquote, salad. I'm looking for kind of the consistency of what a tuna would look like. So I just got it. And I'm going to turn this down when I talk so that you can see what I'm up to. So that was 15 ounces of chickpeas. And if you want this recipe, my website is Beantown Kitchen, and this recipe is available on my website, Beantown Kitchen. It is called chickpea salad with grapes and walnuts. Okay, so in this bowl here, I have some vegan mayo. Now, I know you said you just got off a 21-day whole food plant-based totally awesome. So for anyone that doesn't know, whole food plant-based is basically eating foods close to how they're grown in the ground. So minimally processed foods and avoiding like processed oils, which I actually do the majority of the time. A lot of the reasons, I'm just going to turn this up so you can see me.
Yeah, sure.
A lot of the reasons that I don't add oils to my food, not only is there some question that they might be associated with or removing them from a diet may be associated with reducing our risk for heart disease, but also oil has 125 calories in a tablespoon, and easily as a chef, I can go glug, 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 and I've got 2 tablespoons in this, and I'm making a saute and another 3. By the time you have 6 tablespoons in one dish, that's like 125, 250, 750 calories just from the oil, and you're not getting a whole lot of nutrition in it. So I'm like, I can add flavor and texture to my foods without it. But having said that, this dish, I do use mayo, not often, but I really like it in this dish. So I'm just going to turn this down. To that mayo, I'm adding 1 tablespoon of miso paste. Here's my miso. There's all sorts of different brands of miso that you can buy. Miso is basically a fermented bean of some kind. This one is a fermented soybean. That's what it's made from. So I'm just going to add that. And miso is amazing for adding umami flavors. Umami is that sort of savoriness that we get from chicken and meat. It comes from the amino acid glutamate. So while I'm talking, I'm just going to add 1 tablespoon of balsamic vinegar. Oops, I have a white balsamic here, which I'm putting in. That's going to go in. And then I'm going to add a teaspoon of agave nectar. So this has got a little bit of sweetness, a little bit of sour flavors, a little bit of umami, which I'll just come back to in a minute, a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, and a 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then I'm just going to mix that together. And this is like the dressing, the mayo dressing that I'm putting onto the chickpeas.
Did you just buy like a commercial vegan mayo?
I did buy a commercial vegan mayo. You can also make a mayo from chickpeas if you want it to be a whole food plant-based one. You can make it with some chickpeas and some some apple cider vinegar, also some miso, maybe some garlic. There's a variety of recipes you can find for a whole food plant-based mayo. Okay, so I've given that a good stir, and then I'm just going to pour that over the chickpeas, and then I'm going to mix that. So this is going over. Ignore the mango on the cutting board. That's for the next recipe.
Ignore the mango.
Ignore the mango. All right. So here I'm just giving this a stir. So my dressing is now on the chickpeas, and I'm going to set that aside. And I'll talk to you this way. Okay. So back to the umami flavors. Umami comes from the glutamate in lots of foods. It's an amino acid. It gives like the savory, satisfying, it's a Japanese word, I think, that means delicious flavor to foods. Fermented foods. So in the plant-based world, we get it from things like tomato paste, soy sauce, fermented foods like miso and sauerkrauts and kimchi and I said mushrooms. I'll think of more, but I add those to foods to give it that sort of like deep flavor that we're trying to get. Okay, so now I'm going to add 1/3 cup of walnuts to this. I've got them measured here, and I'm just going to turn this down, and I'll just chop them. So this dish, I like to think about dishes that I have loved in the past and try to veganize them. So this is actually like an old recipe veganized from the 1980s. I used to work in Washington, D.C. In a like gourmet food shop. It was like a really crappy job. My job was like to be in the back, and I was boiling chicken all day, and it wasn't air conditioned, and it was the summertime in DC, and oh my gosh, it was so horrible.
Sounds like fun.
Not fun, but the chef was amazing. I learned such amazing techniques from him, so I really enjoyed working with him. And I'm just going to add these walnuts to the chickpea. And one of the dishes that I made, another thing that's going in is 1/3 cup of chopped celery, which I have chopped already. That's going in. And then so 2/3 of a cup grapes, which I have measured already. And I'm just going to, like, if they're really large, just cut them in half. Or you can just cut or cut them in quarters, or you can just cut them in half. I'm just going to give them a rough chop.
Sure.
Just think about what size you want. So anyway, I was working in this this kind of gourmet food shop, and what the really hot dish was this chicken grape salad with walnuts and tarragon, like I'm making now. So I always used to make that, and I was like, oh, I think I'm going to veganize that. Let me figure out a way to get like the mayo flavors, that umami flavor, and what can I replace the chicken with? And I was like, I'll replace it with chicken. I mean, with chickpeas. So this dish we really like. In fact, my husband and my daughter are here, and they're waiting until I finish making it.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they really like the dish. So
I know your hubby is a triathlete.
He is. All right, I'll tell you about him. So these grapes are done, and I'm just going to put them in the salad, and I'll tell you about my husband. Okay. All right. So people ask me, is the rest of my family vegan? So I went vegan, as I said, like 7, almost 8 years ago. And I just kind of carried on cooking everything I was cooking for my family, like eating my vegan food and cooking for them. I had been like the main cook in the house, and I enjoyed doing it. And I was like, if mom, like, first of all, mom went off the deep end, because suddenly I'm like, what happened to her? She's completely changed her diet in one day. And I also like didn't want to battle my family for food. Like, I have my ethics, but I didn't want it to interfere with my relationship with my family. So I kept cooking for them. So meanwhile, over time, my house is totally vegan, by the way. And when people so psyched to eat all my food. So, but my husband like, later announced he was vegan. It's like, oh my God, that's awesome. Wow. And I asked him a few years later, like, why'd you go vegan? He said, well, you did the research and you had really strong convictions about it. So I figured it was the right thing to do, which was like really lucky and easy.
Doesn't get better than that.
I know, right?
Right? Oh yeah. Gosh, that's amazing. Yeah.
I know. I'm really lucky. And so he, while I'm talking, I'm just going to, I have a red onion here, and the quantity I need is 2 tablespoons. I'm just going to be cutting this while I'm talking. Sure. So he is a really big athlete, bike racer, runner, like really actually an excellent athlete. Like it seems like whatever he does really well at it. But I have to say, once he went vegan, like suddenly the guy's like up on the podium winning things.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And like he says, he attributes the fact that his performance got so much better that he could train harder and recover faster.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fast recovery rate.
Yeah. Great documentary on that. The Game Changers, right?
Yeah, The Game Changers is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good. Did you watch it?
I did. It was amazing. I think it's really changed a lot of it. That was really, I think, really helped a lot of guys, connect more with plant-based vegan, lifestyle.
Exactly. I mean, because somehow, not sure why, we associate eating meat with being big and strong. Yep. And masculinity. Yeah. I know.
Yeah, crazy, right?
So crazy.
Yeah.
So by the way, I'm just chopping my onions in this handy dandy thing.
Oh, fancy. I love my gadgets. We usually do gadgets on the show. So
yeah, the gadgets are so amazing. So look at that. I have these tiny little chopped pieces, which are just so perfect. I just love it. I am not actually a huge gadget girl, by the way.
Oh, no.
No, I'm kind of like a knife and a cutting board, and I'm good. But I have to say, this is really amazing. And every time I use it, I'm so happy. So I'm just measuring 2 tablespoons going into this. And while I'm at it, I always like to chop a bunch of them, because if it's getting dirty, like why not have a bunch of little chopped onions in my fridge? I always use them, throw them on salads, use them in stir fries. So So that's everything. I'm just going to turn it down and I'm going to give this a stir. And that's my salad there. The chickpeas, the grapes, the walnuts. And then, that documentary's, The Game Changers, is so great. I think I've watched it twice now.
Yeah, me too. I always tell everybody to watch it. It's great because it's, there's no animal, slaughter or anything. So it's a great, it's great for everybody to watch.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Okay, while we're talking, I'm just going to grab this.
Beautiful kitchen, by the way.
Thank you so much.
Love that refrigerator.
Oh yeah, it's nice and big, but no matter how big it is, it still doesn't seem big enough. All right. Why is that? So here's my platter, which I got started. And now what I'm going to do is take this chickpea and I'm going to load it up in some endive spears like this.
Okay. Yeah.
And then I can just set them inside here. And then I've got some green ones. I've got some red ones. And they're really nice for people to just sort of pick up. But I also have some bread on here, and I'm going to put the chickpea in the middle. Let's set that there. I'm going to put the chickpea in the middle for anyone that wants to come along. Like when I say anyone, it's not like I'm hosting people now, but I'm imagining how the whole scene of how this would be eaten when I have my friends over soon. By the way, as soon as things open up here, and a lot of people I know are starting to get vaccinated, I'm getting a tent in my backyard. I am getting a dance floor. I am playing the happiest music, and I am going to cook everything I know, and I can't wait.
Very nice. Can I come?
I want you to come. That would be so great.
Yeah.
I would want to do it like as a fundraiser for you guys if I was down.
Oh, really? Oh my God. Thank you so much.
I could even do it here as a fundraiser.
Awesome.
We have to figure out how I could do that.
That would be great. Yeah.
So people who are watching that don't know about Little Bear Sanctuary, tell us.
Oh gosh. Little Bear Sanctuary. Gosh, we're a nonprofit.
I know it's named after your mother.
Yeah, it's named after my mom. Her name was Ursula. And Ursula in Latin is little bear. And she passed away in 2016. So we named it in her memory. We opened our doors in 2017. And we are now home to 173 rescued farm animals. And of course, we rescue animals from abuse and neglect, and we give them a permanent home here at the sanctuary. So we got some mama pigs with babies running around now. So it's just been
unbelievable.
Yeah. We grew very quickly, the dream, the passion, it just, once I made that decision, the doors opened, everything fell into place.
You are doing such amazing work.
Thanks. Thank you.
It's so incredible.
Yeah, thanks.
So
yeah, I'm happy to be, I'm blessed to be doing what I do. So
you feel that way?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you, 163 animals, do you feel like you know and connect with them?
Absolutely. Every single one. Every single
one?
Yes.
You can tell each one apart?
Yeah, they all have names.
Yeah.
I run around in the morning saying hello to everybody, especially the piggies. They're really fun.
Okay, so I can imagine you would know. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so it's like I walk out the front door. We have some, I call them the house pigs, but there's like 23 of them now that are like right outside the front door.
Oh my God.
And they run around all morning, and some goats too. And I just go out. I'm like, hey, good morning, Willie. Good morning, Sadie. Good morning. And they all go, they say good morning back. I'm starting to understand pig language too. So it's been
really like what kind of things do they say besides?
They have a specific name for me. It's that same, they all have this grunt when they see me. That's very different from when they meet other people. So I have to assume that's my name in pig.
Oh my God.
Yeah, seriously. And it's all about the eyes, you connecting with the eyes and watching the head mannerisms. And it's pretty amazing. They're amazing. I'm going to say good afternoon to all, but there's a whole lot of people watching. Good morning, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, Elizabeth, how are you? Hi, Wilma. Did I miss anybody? Elaine. Hey, Elaine, how are you? Marie, Gloria. Hey, Gloria, how's it going? Ruth, hey, Ruth, how's it? Ruth. Oh, we got a lot of people here. Kim, what's going on, Kim? All right, I think I got everybody. Little Bear Sanctuary, we have some questions. Little Bear Sanctuary is in Punta Gorda, Florida. Somebody was asking that question.
I tried to visit you once.
Yes, you did.
You remember that? I was like this random person that's like,
yes.
Hey, I'm down here. I want to come.
I know.
But I think I contacted you via Instagram that morning or something. Yeah. And then I was heading to the airport.
I think
someday.
Yeah. Next time.
So this is on its way, this platter.
Wow.
And I have not finished it yet.
Yeah.
I'm going to fill in gaps with all sorts of things, but it kind of gives you an idea. And for anyone that wants to see the finished product, I will photograph it and put it on my Instagram account, which is Beantown Kitchen. I have a lot of fun taking food pictures.
You take some amazing food photography pictures. I'm so bad with it. That's definitely a talent.
Thanit Chris.
It really is. I remember
Go ahead.
Sorry. I was going to tell everybody, the first recipe I ever made of yours was the chocolate mousse made with tofu.
Oh, yeah.
And I still make that today. It's so easy to do and it tastes absolutely incredible.
Thank you. Yeah, that is such a great recipe for everybody. It's like dairy free, but no one would believe that there's not any cream in it. Ever. And that's it. I'm so glad you're enjoying it. We love that one too. And it also looks really pretty decorated with raspberries and stuff. I remember when you made that. Awesome. Yeah. So I'm going to set this aside.
Okay.
And again, if anyone wants to see it, it's going to be on my Instagram account, and I'll put a link also so that you can find the recipe via the link in my bio on Instagram. And now we're going to move on to the guacamole. So I have a question for you about your sanctuary.
Okay.
About the animals.
Sure.
So the pigs, I can understand knowing one from the other because they're so large in their skin and their face and everything. But how about, do you have any kind of birds there? Any chickens?
We have a few chickens, not too many, a couple ducks. So, maybe like 9 chickens. So they're easy to tell apart because they're a couple different varieties. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We don't have like 50 of them running around but we do have 25 sheep and that are not all named. I just call them the collective. And a lot of them look very identical, but at this point I can see the subtle differences. So.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, it's been interesting.
I'm moving on to making the guacamole now, and the recipe takes 2 avocados. And the trick with this guacamole is I like to keep it kind of chunky, so it's not like a puree. It's my preference. Like I know you can get guacamole sometimes made in the store, like in the little package, and it's to me too pureed. So I just diced this. I'll show you how I do the next one. And I'm going to use a spoon to get the dice out, and it's going to go into this bowl I have right here. And the dice is pretty large. Again, I'll show you. So I'm dicing it like this, making scores in it.
Yep.
And they're pretty large. Oops.
Yeah.
And, then I'm going to, again, put it in the bowl. And even though my avocado trunks are pretty big, as I mix the guacamole, it's going to get smaller, and I can always put a knife in and I can make the chunks even smaller if I want to. So again, I'm dicing this. So I'm trying to think about this party idea that I have.
Yeah, it sounds.
I'm excited.
Maybe I can get myself up there.
I know. Yeah, that would be really fun. Okay, so that was one. Did I just do 2 avocados? Yeah, I must have just done 2 avocados.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Thank you for keeping
I'll be
track.
your sous chef.
Thank you. And then I add a half a cup of mango. So I'm just going to turn this down and I'll show you what this looks like. So the mango, I turn it on its side when I cut a mango, and I slice along the edge, like where I imagine the pit is.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to peel it. And then I'm going to dice this a little bit on the smaller side. So this gets peeled.
Now you did the Ruby cooking school, right? The plant-based.
Yeah, I did. I did the Ruby plant-based cooking school.
Yeah, I started that, but I
oh yeah. What happened? Too time consuming.
Time. Yeah.
Time. I know. It's really time consuming. And now I'm doing. So anyone that doesn't know, Ruby is an online cooking school, and they have a really good plant-based professional program. It's time consuming, and there's a lot of equipment that you pick up and stuff, but it's really, really educational. And for people who follow a whole food plant-based diet, they have a unit on no oil cooking, which is pretty educational. Yeah. What I'm doing now, Chris, is Matthew Kenny's program. Do you know who he is?
No, I don't.
Okay, so he has lots of really, really amazing plant-based restaurants. So up here in New England, there's one called Plant City, which is a whole bunch of his like pizza restaurant, his Mexican restaurant, his burger restaurant. It's all under one roof, and it's pretty amazing. Oh, I've eaten in his restaurants like all over the U.S.
What's his name again?
Outstanding. Matthew Kenny.
Matthew Kenny?
Yeah. So also on my Instagram, I interviewed him a couple months ago. If you scroll down, you'll see a picture of him.
Oh, I did see that. I did.
You saw that?
Yes.
Thank you for keeping up to date with my
I
Instagram.
did.
So I'm just going to put a half a cup of mango into this guacamole. Here it goes. And I diced that pretty small. And so he's amazing. I mean, he's just like... he's such a visionary when it comes to plant-based foods, and I'm just going to put in a quarter cup of yellow onion, but let's see, quarter cup of yellow onion. Okay. I don't care that I have some red left over here. It doesn't matter if it's red or it's yellow, and it goes. In fact, This is going to be a rainbow guacamole.
There you go.
There you go. And yeah, so Matthew Kenny has this program called the Food Future Institute, and you practically have to mortgage your house to get the ingredients for this glass. It's crazy. The technique is incredible, but it's like raw cooking. Like yesterday, I made my own coconut yogurt in my dehydrator. So it's not like your everyday kind of cooking, but it's pretty amazing. So I put the onion in. I already have 2 tablespoons of diced jalapeno pepper, which is going in. I just want to show you how I dice a jalapeno pepper. I'll just turn this down. I like to cut just along the edge and just avoid the seeds altogether. So no seeds here. Mm-hmm. And then I turn it and I get another cut along the edge. And then another, and another. Those seeds are super hot.
Yeah.
And that way I've completely avoided the seeds, and I don't have to like peel them out. And then I dice it small, just by making some nice long slices here. Mm-hmm. And then turn it, and I can make some really nice little cuts of jalapeno. So that's how I do it to avoid those seeds. You could add the seeds, but it would make it fiery hot. This just makes it a little bit spicy, and it gives a nice flavor. So the next thing that's going into this is just some lime. And I'm just going to squeeze the lime in. Guacamole. Here it goes. One.
There's another gadget. Come on. You said you didn't like it.
I know. Do you have a squeezer?
I don't.
Oh, how do you get your lime and your lemon juice out?
Well, actually, I have this. It's this tiny little electric one, where the top spins.
Oh yeah.
And you press down, but yeah. Then I got to clean it, and it's just. Yeah.
I know, it's like.
But usually, I'll end up just squeezing it with my hand.
I know. Sometimes in the end, that's like the easiest thing to do. Okay. Yeah. So I'm just going to show you where I am. All right, let's see, clean up this up so it looks nice for you. Okay, and then I have 6 tablespoons of diced tomato. And I had de-seeded them and diced them small. And then I'm going to add some salt, a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of Tabasco is optional, and a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin. I'm just going to put a little Tabasco in, give it a little bit of nice flavor. And then I love the cumin. Cumin, that's another one that gives an umami, that depth of flavor.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Do you like cumin?
I do. I love it.
Me too. I love it. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then optionally, you could add cilantro. Some people like cilantro and some people don't. So talk about a rainbow. So like we talk about eating from the rainbow because all of those colors, the pigments contain all sorts of like healthy phytonutrients and antioxidants, and like I just love the way. So I'm chopping up the pieces a little bit smaller as I mix this. You can also get a knife in and cut the pieces a little smaller, but better to start big and then go smaller than create just a puree. So I'm giving this a little dice. And it's like so colorful and so yummy. And it's just like a slightly interesting take on guacamole, which we all pretty much know how to make, but it's just got a little more color, and then it's got the sweet and the sour flavors. And as I said, it's got the depth flavor from the cumin. And you can always add some cilantro. Okay, so that's good. And I'm just going to show you my platter for that one. Let me clean this off first. So I have a platter here. Let's see, that I would serve this with. And let me get the spoon. Is here. I'm going to just spoon the guacamole into the center. And on the platter, I have some cucumbers. I like to cut cucumbers in rounds, and then people can just pick one up and just dip their way into the guacamole. I have some crackers. Of course, you could have some tortilla chips too. Yeah. But, you know, you don't always have to have tortilla chips. And again, you guys are coming off that whole food plant-based challenge. So I'm just kind of showing you that there's some alternatives to have with the guacamole that are like super healthy and nutritious that aren't necessarily tortilla chips. Not that I mind a tortilla chip from time to time.
Who doesn't like a tortilla chip?
Who doesn't like a tortilla chip? Exactly. So I might throw a little, some different pepper, maybe some jalapeno on there, so people get the idea there's jalapeno in there. Add a little color. I diced a mango. I just scored it and then turned it like that, which is kind of pretty. I would put some cilantro on, and then I might fill the gaps in with some other things. And these crackers are Mary's Gone crackers. I think they're plant-based. Do you know them? They're so amazing.
Are they?
And I'm not just saying that because they hired me recently to create content for them. This isn't sponsored, but I have a lot of them still. And they're really, really good. I think they're totally whole food plant-based. I'm definitely vegan.
Yeah.
So
where do you get them at Whole Foods? Are they at the, like Whole Foods and online?
Yeah, I get them at Whole Foods. Yep. Do you have a Whole Foods nearby?
It's about 50 minutes away.
Okay, yeah.
That's nearby for me.
yeah, that's a drive. Exactly. Yeah. So that is how I do the guacamole.
Awesome.
And yeah, I'm thinking like what I've got some more carrots here. So I'll just show you how I would do this. Like I'm thinking like I have a little space right here. I'm going to take some carrots. I'm going to fill that in. Oh, it's nice to have a little bit of the orange color popped in there. And I might be thinking to myself, oh, I'd like a little bit more red over here. So I'll pop some tomatoes in there. Let's see what I have. I have the little tomatoes. Little tomatoes, where are you? That's okay. Like I put another tomato there. Wow. And I'm just kind of trying to create like something super appealing, lots of color, lots of texture, lots of options. And you can imagine someone would come up, grab a carrot and dip it. Someone might just want a cucumber. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's
Very
what
cool.
I do. That's what I do.
So let's talk about some vegan stuff for a little bit. You still have
Let's do
time
it.
to talk?
Yeah, I have time to talk.
Good.
Yeah.
I love, you have a section on your website that's sort of dedicated to nutrition and health, and I think it really sums up the Cornell University program. Like it's pretty amazing. I actually I added your website to the Little Bear Sanctuary 21-day challenge page, which we're going to keep up. So if anybody wants to visit your website, we also have it on the littlebearsanctuary.org website. And I know we talked about protein earlier, and protein is always like the biggest, like everybody is so concerned about protein. And I've learned to sort of turn it around and ask people how much protein do they think they need in a day. And we actually don't really need as much protein as everybody thinks we need.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. In fact, eating more protein that we need may be detrimental to our bodies.
To our bodies. Kidneys especially. Yeah. It's really hard on the kidneys. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you said you watched Cowspiracy.
I did watch Cowspiracy.
No, what'd you think of that?
Really upsetting to think about the impact that animal agriculture has on the planet. And like I would say, like the great takeaway from watching that documentary is it's all quite overwhelming when we think about the state of the world when it comes to our food system and the impact it has on the Amazon rainforest and deforestation and dead zones in the water and contaminated water and like species extinction, right? It's so overwhelming. But the single most impactful thing, or one of the single most impactful things we as individuals can do is eat a plant-based diet. Yeah. So every day, 3 times a day, we actually can have an impact on the planet. So it's actually overwhelming and you could feel despair on the one hand. On the other hand, you feel like you have some agency and it feels hopeful to think that there's something you can do and contribute to the solution. Do you feel that?
Yeah, for sure. It's funny. The one thing I remember about Cowspiracy that was my biggest wake up was, because everybody talks about transportation, how it's polluting the earth, and everybody thinks, oh my God, it's the airplanes and it's the cars and we burn so much gas. But the livestock sector generates more greenhouse gas than transportation combined, at 100 times more. It's just insane, and no one ever talks about that. Like the environmentalists, even we celebrate Earth Day once a year yesterday. And, veganism, unless you're vegan, isn't really talked about,
Right.
I watched so many shows yesterday and nobody talked about, stop eating animals, go vegan, save the planet. It's all, recycling. They talk about recycling and they talk about turning off your electricity.
Showers, driving Priuses. Right.
I'm just blown away that it's not talked about. Still today.
I'm so with you. So with you. I went, a couple of things. I was at an environmental fundraiser for an environmental organization. And I happened to be standing next to the executive director of the organization at the precise moment that a waitress came by with a platter full of filet of beef on top of a crostini.
Wow.
And I was like, and I actually asked him, I said, given the impact that the animal agriculture has on the environment, what do you think about serving meat at an event like this? And his response was, people are paying good money to be here and they want the food to be nice. And at that moment, I was like, there is such an opportunity to change the outlook, the impression of what plant-based food is. And that's a lot of the reason why I'm really into food photography and teaching cooking classes and feeding people. Sure. But, that was like 3 or 4 years ago. I think things are changing. Certainly among young people, like people are using the word like cool and trendy now.
Right. It's
becoming, and they're also really into sustainability.
Yes.
So I feel really hopeful in that area.
Yeah, I'm hopeful too. I wish, it's too bad the animal industry has got such a stronghold in this country. And
I know.
It's
we
really
don't really stand a chance to impact the USDA, for instance. Things need to happen at the local level, Chris, and that's why I have such admiration for the work that you do. Because in your community and the larger community, and now through the world, because people can see the work you're doing, you can offer a different solution.
Yeah.
You can show that these animals are beings, and they represent billions of other animals that are in confinement and suffering. Yeah. Every one of the, that you are taking care of, it's amazing work you do. And I think that's what we have to do, is work at the local level.
We do. And especially where I am.
Light. And you and Randy are such shining lights. Like every time you turn up on my Instagram feed, it's like, it's like a breath of fresh air.
Oh, thank you.
Because it's painful to see the other side of it. So I really admire you for changing the course of your life.
Thank you. Yeah, it was it was meant to be, it just it's people say, if you had to do it all over again, would you do anything different? People always ask me that question on interviews, and I don't think I would change anything. It took me, it took that day in that real estate course, for that light bulb moment to happen. And I don't think it would have happened any other way. Not having the experiences I had. So,
everything came together for you.
Yeah.
To be that right moment to say, I'm stepping out here of the matrix and doing something so different.
Oh gosh, ain't that the truth? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny, in the beginning, I always talk to people about, the different stages of veganism. When you first go vegan, you want to tell all your friends and you're so excited, and, the health benefits, and you get just the opposite reaction. You're met by like hostility and people just, don't want to listen, or, so, you go for, I used to, somebody called me the vegan police once. And I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm not the vegan police. I got to stop doing that. So, I decided at that point to just, show the positive. Here's what I eat. Here are the animals I save. This is what I do. I'm still alive 11 years later, no protein deficiency. I'm not, it's
totally.
Yeah,
exactly. No, I relate to what you're saying. In fact, you were talking about yesterday being Earth Day, and I was standing outside a supermarket, Trader Joe's, and they had all these posters outside, and it was talking about all the things Trader Joe's is doing to benefit the planet in terms of recycling and blah, 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 blah. And I didn't see anything about a plant-based diet. And I had this moment of, I'm going to go in and find out who made these posters, and I'm going to go in and you say blah, blah, blah. But then I stopped myself because I'm not in that place anymore.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm going to hold on to this feeling and this knowledge and see what to do with it. Do you know who Colleen Patrick Gaudreau is? She's got a great podcast, and she's like the Joyful Vegan, and she's about
the Joyful Vegan. Yeah.
She's blonde, really attractive.
Yeah.
So she's
I'm bad
on
with
Clubhouse.
names. I'm really bad with names.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, you can picture her. Yeah. And she's all about compassion, but she talks about those stages. And I happened to have a chance to talk to her yesterday. She was on Clubhouse, Ask Me Anything. I was like, okay, I have a question for you. I had a what would Colleen do moment. And I explained the story, and she said, yeah, well, let that fire, that fire. First of all, I realized as she was talking, none of us are perfect. In fact, there I was going to shop in Trader Joe's on Earth Day, buying things that were in packages, which is,
driving your car, maybe, I don't know.
Driving my car to get there, and like all the plastic on everything. Like, so I have a long way to go, first of all. So I can't start getting self-righteous. Yeah. And she said, maybe talking to the person, it might have been a corporate thing. So maybe talking to that person wasn't the right thing. And also they might have been like defensive, but she said, write a letter to the editor or write a letter to Trader Joe's or sort of like, don't squash that feeling, but maybe find the right outlet for it. So I thought that was really an interesting outlook.
Yeah. Tell people about Clubhouse. It's the newest social media, I guess, right? It's I want you to come on, Chris. Yeah, I'm on. I'm still trying to figure out how to use it.
I need to help. So I think it's pretty amazing. So for a start, Clubhouse, it is the new app. You don't see anybody. It's just voice and a tiny little profile picture, and you enter a room. There's all sorts of rooms to choose from that are going on at all times. So I like to go to rooms about food photography, about veganism, about cooking, about conquering my fear of public speaking or whatever it is. There's always something interesting going on.
For sure.
And you can either stay in the audience or you can raise your hand and come ask a question. So I raised my hand in Colleen's room and asked that question.
Okay.
And it's very democratic in the sense that when you're listening to a podcast, it's pre-recorded and passive. You don't have a chance to be part of the conversation, but you can really get in on it. So for instance, I wanted to learn how to do a stop motion video. It's on my Instagram. I did a reel. I think I put it up yesterday, the day before. I had no idea how to do it. I jumped in a photography room. I'm like, does anyone know how to do this? And three people told me. And by that night I had it, and I'd been trying to figure it out for weeks. It's like I could go straight to the experts rather than Google it and watch videos. So it's great that way. And also I'm making so many friends and connections of people in the vegan world. The networking is incredible.
Yeah, is it?
Yeah. So
I'm getting used to it.
Yeah.
I've been listening and trying to.
You have, yeah.
And there's not a lot of sanctuary stuff, so it'd be interesting to just have a room for people to ask questions about.
So who's on there a lot is Rowdy Girl.
Rowdy Girl, okay. Yeah.
Rowdy Girl's on, and she does sanctuary stuff. So I think it would be really cool to have a room which is based on sanctuaries where you're on and Rowdy Girl is on. And
that'd be fun.
And also I've seen like the executive director or something like for Farm Sanctuary. So I think you can have a whole room on sanctuaries. That would be really cool. Maybe I'll put that together.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, we're coming to the end of the show.
Okay.
And I thought before I said goodbye, at the beginning of the show, I said I would put up a counter of worldwide animal slaughters, from when I started the show. Sorry, my dogs are barking. So it's a counter that I started at the beginning of the show, and it's counting down how many animals were slaughtered since the beginning of the show to now. And I'm just going to go down the list quickly because I think it's pretty shocking that in the 50 minutes that I started this, let's see, 9 million fish have been slaughtered, 6 million chickens, 55,000 sheep, 32,000 cows, and 150,000 pigs slaughtered just in the 50 minutes of this show. So, we have Earth Day. This counter needs to stop, and I hope a lot of people start becoming a little bit more conscious about what they put on their plate. And I thank you for being on the show. I don't want to get all philosophical now, so just sort of wanted to throw those numbers out. You know the numbers. I know the numbers.
Yeah, they're really.
But it was great to meet you in person finally.
So great to meet you. Yeah. Such a pleasure.
Let's do this again.
I'd love to.
Awesome.
I'd love to. Fun to chat with you.
Yeah, let's stay in touch for sure. And and thank you, by the way, for all those wonderful pig houses a few months ago.
Yeah, I know.
Wow, those are awesome. We really needed them, so it was a perfect. Thank you for that donation. Really, truly,
yeah, totally
really
my pleasure.
Yeah.
Let's talk and find out what else you need.
Appreciate it. Thank you so much. So I'm going to end the show there, and thank you everybody for watching. I hope you guys had a good time. I did. Next week, I'm sort of still working out the show schedule. Petey's been the one barking in the background the whole time, by the way, if you keep hearing this dog bark. It's my little annoying Petey dog. So great show today. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next week. I'm working on my schedule for the next few months. Next week, we start at 1 p.m. So we're moving the show to 1 p.m. next week. A lot of people said their lunch hours would be a little better if I did it later. So 1 p.m. starting next week and going forward. And that's the end of the show. This is Chris Vane signing out. And remember, peace begins on your plate. Love you guys.
Don't want the fun to end? Grab more refreshments. Then head over to the Goldylocks Productions YouTube channel. With the huge selection of shows, the fun doesn't have to end.